Welcome, dear viewers. Today on the Organiser Podcast, we are joined by Shri Kaustubh Kasture, a noted author, researcher, and scholar of Maratha history. Through his writings, his books, and his talks, Kaustubh has extensively studied and highlighted many inspiring yet lesser known episodes from the times of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj right up to the Peshwai era. On 19th June 1676, Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj authorized and facilitated a very unusual but epochal event. He facilitated the Shuddhi ritual that enabled the reconversion of Netaji Palkar, one of his bravest and most accomplished Maratha warriors. Netaji had been forcibly converted to Islam by Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb during his captivity. Not just Netaji, even his wives, his entire family was forcibly converted. Shivaji Maharaj's bold and compassionate decision to bring Netaji Palkar and his family back into the Hindu fold through Ghar Wapsi, as we call it today, was a novel and courageous act in that era when accepting returnees was considered taboo. This event stands as a powerful symbol of leadership, dharma, and reinstatement of those who wish to return to their roots. Kaustubh ji, thank you for joining us on this special episode of The Organiser.
Thank you so much.
Over to you. Please take us through the historical significance of 19th June 1676 and why Netaji Palkar's reconversion to the Hindu fold in that era is today an epochal event.
Okay, let me take you through the entire journey of Netaji Palkar, how he started his career, when did he meet Shivaji Maharaj, when did he appointed as a general of forces. Basically, if you see, there are two categories. First of all, it is not the chief of force at once. There were two generals at that time. Currently, we have only one chief of army staff. Then we have chief of naval staff and the chief of airfield. At that time, it was chief of cavalry. That is the first one, and that is the main general. What we can say, the commander. And the second was chief of army. Usually, we call them as जो पैदल जाने वाले लोग होते हैं वो. So Netaji was the chief of cavalry force and he was one of the 8 ministers of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. Now, when we get back to the early stages of his career, we don't know when he was born. The birth date is not known to us as of now. As in,
but I think he was like 10 years elder to Chhatrapati Shivaji.
We can say because see, ultimately there was an event between 1655 to 1660 wherein Shivaji Maharaj he did not just cut it off, but the old people which were appointed by Shahaji's father, Shivaji's father, Shahaji Raje had sent a few noblemen from Bangalore to Pune. Now, the first cavalry chief was Mankoji Dahatonde. We believe that
so Shahaji Raje had sent these people when Shivaji Maharaj was still a boy.
Came back from Bangalore to Pune.
Was still a boy and he was being groomed.
Yes, that is correct. Okay. So that was back in 1642. Then from 1642 to 16, we don't have again the exact date, but 1642 to 1658-59, Mankoji Dahatonde was the first cavalry general.
Correct.
In between, we get to see that Netaji Palkar was introduced probably, or he came into the picture in 1652 to 54. There is a fort near Pune called Purandar, and a typical thing happened between Adil Shah and Shivaji Maharaj, wherein Shivaji Maharaj needed some place wherein he could just stay back and fight with the Adil Shahi forces. Now, this Purandar fort was legally, officially considered as Adil Shah's fort. The Killedar was Adil Shahi. Shivaji Maharaj just borrowed that fort. He fought against the Adil Shahi troops and everything. 2 years later, when something happened, again we don't know what happened, but the fort was retaken by Shivaji Maharaj. The Killedar died. His 4 children, again the typical thing happened. एक दूसरे में जो होता है skirmishes and all. तो उसकी वजह से शिवाजी महाराज had to take that fort, and he appointed a new chief of that fort, or Kiledar, and the person was Netaji Palkar. That is the first incident when we meet Netaji for the first time in the history of Shivaji Maharaj.
Okay.
That is 1654.
Okay.
Now, since 1654 to 1658-59, when
So
Mankoti
let me
Dahat hote,
interrupt you just a minute over here.
Yeah.
1654 means Shivaji Maharaj must have been a 24-year-old.
approximately, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So 1654 to 1658, Netaji was serving as a chief of that fort, the Fort Purandar. Let me just tell you one more thing. When the prince, the son of Shivaji Maharaj, Sambhaji, was born on the Fort Purandar, Netaji was the killer of that fort.
Okay.
Now, when the previous, what we can say, the previous front of the ministers, be it your Peshwa, be it your Senapati or the general, there were other ministers also who were quite elder as compared to the new generation. Shivaji Maharaj decided to take a decision. Basically, he took a decision to introduce youngsters, as in the people who were with him right from the beginning. Netaji was, again, either he was one of them, or just by seeing at his devotion, his dedication, Shivaji Maharaj took a decision to appoint him as a general of cavalry, not infantry or the army. Now, 1658 was a year when there were rumors that Adil Shah is going to take back the kingdom, whatever he had lost, and Shivaji Maharaj had taken the Fort Kondana, the Purandar, and its surroundings. Again, in
Kondana is today called?
Kondana is Simhagat.
So
it
all
is
this
30
is around
kilometers
Pune.
near.
So all this is happening around Pune.
Yeah, correct. Now, this happened in 1658, Adil Shah, 58, 59, late 58 and early 59. Adil Shah decided to send troops. He tried a couple of times, but nothing happened. Then there was a military chief at that time of Adil Shah called Afzal Khan. He was appointed and he was sent with a cavalry of around 25 to 30,000, and the troops were around, troops not as in the army was of around 30 to 35. So collectively it was 60,000 plus.
Heavy army.
The heavy army with the artillery, with the guns and everything.
With a single aim.
With a single aim of capturing Shivaji, either alive
Maharaj,
or dead. Now
they were also destroying temples on the way.
Yes, I was about to come to that thing. So, if you see the route between Pune and Bijapur, the capital of Adil Shah, Afzal Khan started marching towards Pune. He basically crossed the border, the Karnataka and Maharashtra border. He came to Tuljapur, which was the sacred place at that time. We also have that. Yes, Aradhya Daivat of Shivaji Maharaj. He destroyed the temple, but fortunately, the priest had taken the idol off the temple and he had placed it somewhere intact from the Vijapuri invasion and everything. So thankfully, it got saved. Then yes, the troops, the Vijapuri force, obviously they came over the fort. I don't recall the exact name of that fort, but it is near Paranda or Solapur. Then they headed towards Pune, first thing. Now, Shivaji Maharaj wanted something to happen, but not in the core of Swarajya. That is the first thing. If you see, at that time, he had 4 parganas, basically of his, as a private Jagir. Pune, Supe is the nearest place to Pune. Chakan, which is to the north of the city, the Pune, and Indapur, which is again nearby Supe or
all this is mountainous area?
This is a mountainous area, correct.
And Afzal was trying to draw him out into the plains.
His intention was purely to come to Pune, get Shivaji and get back to home. That was the first intention. But if you see the forces and everything, if they would have marched through all these places and come to Pune all the way, तो जो हम कहते हैं ना उसे कि आपका पूरा प्रदेश पूरा तहस नहस हो जाता and everything would have got destroyed. Shivaji Maharaj started thinking over it and he thought of, so let me just get back to the incident where Shivaji Maharaj captured the outer surface, the outer boundaries of the southern, it is southern Jagir, his. Then that was the first incident when Shivaji thought that Afzal Khan can be invited to this particular area, which was quite dense, which was truly tough to be invaded, and obviously it was well into Marathas.
And he was well versed with the topography.
Yes, correct.
And
that is one of the things.
Afzal would be at sea over there.
Yeah. So if you see the map of Pune or the Western Ghats, there was a place called Jauli, just near to Mahabaleshwar or southern part of the Pune region.
Yeah, Zauri,
yeah. So Afzal Khan was not sure whether Shivaji would stay back at Pune. First thing, he would run away to Konkan, or he'll just come out of the core area of Swaraj. So Afzal Khan waited at Satara and Vai, understanding what would be the next move of Shivaji Maharaj. Now, Shivaji Maharaj was quite sure he did not want Afzal to enter the core of Swaraj. He went to Pratapgarh, which is near to Satara or Vai of Maharashtra. The forests were dense, first of all. The overall surrounding was quite, what we can say, it was very tough to identify if the Maratha troops are hiding behind anything, and if they would have just come out with just one single, what we can say, usko jo signal, or I don't know what was the communication channel at that time.
Because of guerrilla tactics that they
Because of the guerrilla tactics, yes, that is correct.
Yeah.
So this was the master plan which was decided by Shivaji Maharaj, that Afzal Khan can come to Jauli, should be taken to Jauli first thing. He'll be, how do I say it? I don't recall the terminologies again. Usko Jauli mein leke aayenge. He will capture him, will surround him, and then will destroy him.
Cavalry, infantry, sab bej ke gher lo.
Correct.
Okay, but 60,000.
60 to 65,000, yes, approximately. And then it got divided. It got divided. Afzal Khan sent a few of his sardars to Pune. A few of them were headed to Lohgad and Sapur in the core of Swaraj.
So
and the rest of rest of the 72-75% was with him, as in Jauli.
So Maharaj thought that is manageable.
In Maharashtra, yeah.
That was manageable and let us crowd. So this plan was made with Netaji Palkar.
This plan basically was designed by Shivaji Maharaj only, but Netaji, since being the head of the cavalry, Shivaji Maharaj basically distributed the responsibilities amongst all the sardars. There were around 10 to 12 chiefs of different sections of the military. Netaji Palkar was the main general of cavalry. Then we have Yesaji Kank, who was the general of army. Then we had Moropant. He was not Peshwa at that time, but he was handling Pingre, yes. Later, he became the Peshwa of the Swaraj. We had Annaji Datto. We had Neopant was the treasurer of Swaraj. Now, all these people, Shivaji Maharaj
the Ashtapradhan Mandal you're talking about.
Ashtapradhan Mandal, yes, 8 ministers. So Shivaji Maharaj, but at that time, Neopant and Moropant was not part of Ashtapradhan Mandal. They were just acting as the chiefs of certain units of the army.
Yeah.
Now, Shivaji Maharaj wanted this to happen, that Afzal Khan comes to Jauli. We surround him, we take him directly or indirectly, either, or we kill him. Because that was the aim. Afzal also wanted to kill Shivaji Maharaj first thing, or he wanted to capture him alive and take it back to Bijapur. The entire master plan was ready by about August or September of 1659. At that time, when we see Netaji was actually appointed as the cavalry general. Now, here onwards, his career starts as a cavalry general or the chief general of Shivaji Maharaj. The first milestone has been crossed now. Now, when the Afzal Khan and his the entire army entered Jauli, the first thing Shivaji Maharaj told Netaji that you just go up. So, if you see the terrains, it is the Pratapgarh is not exactly attached to the range of the Western Ghats, the Sahyadri. It is intact. If you just descend the Sahyadri mountains, you come to Jauli, first thing. Then you ascend the second level of the Sahyadri ranges, which is outer skirt, what we can say, outer perimeter
Periphery,
of Jauli, the western part. And then you descend back to Konkan range, Konkan area. Afzal Khan, when he came to Jauli, Shivaji Maharaj had the first thing in mind that he should not return to Vai or Bijapur. Since he's come along with whatever the khajina was, whatever the things were, he should not get back. That is the first thing. And what do we want to do for that? Netaji will ascend the entire the range of Sahyadri, just near to Mahabaleshwar or Pasgani. He'll stay back there. When the entire thing, the politics will happen, or the exact incident will happen, whatever the thing is, if Shivaji Maharaj lives or dies, the responsibility on Netaji was to capture Afzal if he tries to get back to Vai or Bijapur, first thing. If not, whatever the troops are there in Jauli, they will certainly get back to Vai. Try to stop them as much as possible, first thing. If not, you just get the main Sardars of Bijapur, his children, Afzal's children, and the Khajina, the treasury and everything. So this is the first thing when Shivaji Maharaj noticed something. When Netaji is appointed at that particular thing, he'll do it. That was the first impression. Unfortunately, Netaji could not. Again, we don't know what happened exactly, but the incident happened on 10th of November 1659 at around 2:30 p.m. in the afternoon. Afzal Khan was killed. Shivaji Maharaj got back to Pratapgarh.
Shivaji Maharaj killed Afzal Khan.
Shivaji Maharaj killed Afzal Khan. Everything happened. Unfortunately, one of his children, Fazil Khan, along with the other chiefs of Afzal Khan, he basically managed to escape from that scene. He went to Vai first.
That is Netaji's fault?
That is considered to be Netaji's fault because Shivaji Maharaj had appointed him on one single task only, to stop Afzal. Either if Afzal gets scared, to stop Fazil and the other troops. Unfortunately, Netaji was not aware that, see, basically there are two ghats or two roadways to ascend Sahyadri ranges just near that area, Jauli. One was to the north of Mahabaleshwar, which was the longest route, and one which is directly in front of the fort, which is Pratapgarh, and there was one other fort called Makrangarh. In between these two forts, the ghat goes up to the Mahabaleshwar hill, which is called Ratondisa Ghat, which literally means
makes you cry.
It makes you cry. It is so tough. Yeah, exactly. So Fazil Khan did not take this road. He, fortunately, by his fortune, obviously, he got a man from that particular area. He managed him somehow and he escaped through another route. Netaji was fully unaware of his move, Fazil's move. He waited there and he was thinking that some or the other time he'll come, but it didn't happen.
He escaped.
And Fazil Khan escaped. He went to Vai. He took all his khajina, all his women and everything, and he ran back to Bijapur. That is the first case when Shivaji Maharaj was quite disappointed by Netaji's...
For not thinking ahead.
Not thinking ahead is the one thing, and obviously Netaji was fully aware of whatever the routes are.
Terrains and
but
possibilities.
Yes, possibilities, yes. But Afzal being a foreigner at that time, at that particular area, he did not even think of someone from our team or someone from this particular area would help Fazil Khan to escape from the boundary that Netaji had set. It happened. Shivaji Maharaj, obviously, everything was already happened at around 2:30 p.m. Almost 80% of the army of Afzal was killed. Rest, whoever was captured, they either they was killed first thing, or they accepted the fate and they came back to Shivaji, obviously in his उनकी चाकरी में और वो सब हुआ. Fazil Khan went back. Shivaji Maharaj, when on the next day, he thought Fazil would have not reached to Y. He headed towards Y, and then he got to know that everything is already done. Netaji is sitting just around 15 to 16 kilometers from Y, anticipating that Fazil would come and will just capture him. It did not happen. Shivaji Maharaj was quite disappointed, that angry, quite, or you can say, see, since he is the cavalry chief, he would have had that vision, he would have had that strategy to capture either women or the main
So,
Sardars.
do we have papers or letters where Shivaji Maharaj is sounding him off about?
At that time, no. Frankly speaking, no. That was the first case where Shivaji Maharaj noticed that something is not working correctly. But obviously, he was a man where he would have thought of multiple incidences. Yeah.
But he was called Prati Shivaji. He was called like a.
He was called Prati Shivaji, but see, ultimately Shivaji is the only one. We have, even the current times, we have a couple of ministers, we have a couple of Democrats who act like a legend, but we cannot expect everything from everyone. Prati Shivaji was for the forces who tackled him either, or who were not at that extent of countering the troops of 20-25,000 which Netaji had at that time. Now Fazil Khan was
after this Fazil Khan disaster, Fazil Khan reached Vijapur.
He went, he reached Vijapur. Then he came back again with reinforcements. But before that, Shivaji Maharaj, on the very next day, on 11th of November 1659, Shivaji Maharaj, along with Netaji, he reached Y first thing. They recaptured the entire province. Then they headed towards Bijapur. Now Shivaji Maharaj made a strategy in a way wherein the trident strategy is what it is called. The left section, when you march towards Bijapur from Pune, the left section, the eastern part of Maharashtra, the middle part of Maharashtra, it was under command of Netaji. First of all, Netaji, when he headed towards somehow southeast, then he headed towards Bijapur. Shivaji Maharaj went straight away right from Y, Satara, then Karad, Miras and Kolhapur. The third Sardar was sent to Konkan. His name was Doroji. He, again, we don't have the exact designation where he was appointed to, but it is, we can believe that he was one of the noblemen of the newly introduced Navy. So Doroji was sent to Konkan. He went to Rajapur. Firstly, he went to Dabhol, then he went to Rajapur. And there's another chapter of that thing. He captured the three ships of Afzal Khan. That is the one case. Netaji and Shivaji Maharaj, by two sides, they headed to Bijapur. Shivaji Maharaj went to Kolhapur first. He captured the fort of Panala within next 18 days from the incident which happened in Zauli. On 10th of November, Afzal Khan was killed by Shivaji Maharaj. And on 20th of...
We'll have to shorten this.
Yeah. So on 20th of November, Shivaji Maharaj captured the fort of Panala. Why I'm telling this thing is the fort Panala plays vital role in what happened to Netaji, what happened to the unfortunate events, and whatever the things which Shivaji Maharaj had thought of, which could not went well. the first thing. Now, Netaji came along with 15 to 20,000 troops. He headed towards Bijapur. He reached up to Atni, which is the nearest, biggest place to Bijapur. Obviously, Bijapur Darbar was shaken. They were like, we want someone who can again either stop Netaji, Shivaji, first thing, or defeat them, or at least save us from that invasion from either Netaji's front or Shivaji's front. Now, Fazal Khan and one more Sardar called Rustum-e-Zama, they were sent against Shivaji Maharaj to Kolhapur. They were defeated. They came back to Bijapur. Now, the third chapter starts here, which was the siege of Panhala. I'll not go on in that thing, but Shivaji Maharaj had to stay back at Panhala for at least 4 to 5 months.
Rainy season.
Rainy season, right from March to July.
Encircled by the enemy.
Yeah. The second incident that happened and Shivaji Maharaj observed about Netaji was the first thing I told you about the escape of Fazal Khan. That was the first thing. Second thing, when Shivaji Maharaj had stuck in that particular siege, the duty of the Sardars of Swaraj, especially Netaji, who's being the chief of cavalry, chief of the entire army,
was to break the blockade.
And help Shivaji Maharaj escape the siege. First thing. Again, it didn't happen. It couldn't happen. We don't know the reason. Netaji had around 5,000 to 6,000 with him, the cavalry and the army. He tried to. How do I say it?
मराठी में बोलो.
त्याला आपण वेढा फोडणं म्हणतो ना.
काय केलं?
वेढा फोडणं ज्याला म्हणतो.
Yeah, to breach the encirclement of the enemy.
Yeah, or let the Shivaji Maharaj and the other troops let them out the fort. But again, that did not happen.
This is the same incident at the end of the 4 months when Baji Prabhu Deshpande died defending
just
the Pavan
before
Khan.
that. Yeah, Baji Prabhu died on 13 July 1660. This happened exactly about 15 to 20 days before the incident. Netaji, first thing he tried to help Shivaji Maharaj, which did not happen. He went to Rajgarh. The mother, Shivaji Maharaj's mother, Jizabai, was there, and she was like, if you're not able to do it, I'll save my child. Obviously, that was not possible physically, practically, but somehow she tried to push Netaji to do that. She was also a warrior, but at that time she was around 60.
Generally, I'm saying she was the daughter of one of the most valiant generals, sister, wife of, and she had, I think, when she was pregnant with Shivaji Maharaj, she had ridden the horse or Sambhaji Maharaj, his elder brother. One of those times they were escaping.
In 1630s.
Heavily pregnant, she had been riding the horse to escape.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so
Netaji, first of all, he tried to breach the encirclement and everything, but somehow it did not happen. He went to Rajgarh, then again he went back to Panhala.
So failure upon failure.
Of
Netaji. So did that make him feel like I'm losing and falling out of favor with the king? And
I don't think Netaji himself was thinking on those lines, but Shivaji Maharaj was observing this thing. Since I've appointed someone as chief of my army, he should not think. Basically, there are two terminologies. When we read the documents, we come across two terminologies. One is Sardari and one is Shipahigiri. In my corporate terms, if I say, if you're acting as a manager and if you're acting as a worker, both are different things. Worker is something, whatever my manager is telling me, I'll go by that way. And manager or leader is someone who thinks that way. Netaji, obviously being the chief, he was supposed to think that way. And not just being an ordinary Sardar.
Did Shivaji Maharaj feel that he is like going across, double crossing? Was that the thing?
Double crossing was not in the picture at that time, at least. Shivaji Maharaj was again angry on this particular piece that Netaji could not he failed because he could not breach the
Then what
encirclement and
happened?
everything.
How did the crossover happen?
Shivaji Maharaj escaped by fortune. Maybe his military intelligence and everything was
From?
from the siege of Panala.
Okay.
Then he came back to Rajgarh. One thing. This happened in 1660, July 1660. This was the second incident when Shivaji Maharaj observed the incapability of the army chief, of the cavalry chief, but he did not do anything at that time. Later on,
Even in 1665 something happened.
yes, but in between 1660, then 1661 was when Shivaji Maharaj went to Konkan, Rajapur, and everything happened.
Again Netaji failed?
No, at that time, Netaji was handling the campaigns nearby Solapur. In 1662-63, when Shivaji Maharaj was fighting against Vijapur at one hand and against Mughals on the other, the Mughal forces had already entered Swarajya. Shaista Khan, who was the uncle of Aurangzeb, he stayed
Lodged
back at
himself
Pune,
in Pune,
in
in
Pune
the
for
same
3
mahal
years.
that was Shivaji Maharaj ka Balpan ka mahal.
Exactly. And within these skirmishes, there were two incidents in 1662 and 63 when Shaista Khan defeated Netaji. In 1663, he was brutally departed from the area where he was staying back nearby your Ahmednagar or in between Pune and Nagar. That was the fourth incident when Shivaji Maharaj thought of, now this is not working fine. Later on in 1665, when Mirza Raja came, unfortunately, he defeated Shivaji Maharaj. Shivaji Maharaj had to go into Treaty of Purandar. 23 forts were handed over to Mughals. Now, there was commitment from Shivaji Maharaj's end that my son, Sambhaji, will come to your party. He'll be basically, we will act as an ally to you, first thing. My son will be.
That was a forced clause.
That was a forced clause, obviously, yes.
Yeah,
but Sambhaji at that time, Sambhaji Maharaj was of around 8 to 9 years old. Now, someone had to go along with him. Netaji, obviously, being the key person of the army or the cavalry, Shivaji Maharaj decided to send him. Netaji went there in around Feb to March 1665 or even beyond that. Now, Shivaji Maharaj thought of one thing wherein he could manipulate the entire politics. Mirza Raja was Hindu. Diler Khan was Pathan. At that time, the skirmishes between the Deccani Musalmans and Pathans were about to rise, which
Diler Khan was in whose army?
Diler Khan was in Mughal army. He came along with the Mirza Raja.
Also was the Mansabdar with the Mughals.
So Shivaji Maharaj sent Netaji Palkar along with Sambhaji Maharaj. Then he called him back. He offered something to Mirza Raja that along with Netaji, we can go to Bijapur and will try to help you invade either or capture the forts of Bijapur for you, as in for the Mughals. Panala was one of the forts which Shivaji Maharaj had already taken from Bijapur. He wanted that fort again to be included in Swarajya. First thing, that was not possible. Shivaji Maharaj called upon Netaji and he told him that you just come along with me either, or you, whatever the theme is, you meet me at the base of Kolhapur or Panala. We'll go there, we'll capture the fort and we'll come again. Again, it did not happen. The decided time was around 10 to 11 in the night. Shivaji Maharaj waited for long, but Netaji did not come. Obviously, before dawn, Shivaji Maharaj had to attack and he had to capture the fort or get back to the Chhauni. Netaji did not come. शिवाजी महाराज के सामने उनके ऑलमोस्ट 1000 to 1500 soldiers were killed by Adil Shahi forces. Now, this is the fifth incident where Shivaji Maharaj thought of incapability of Netaji. After fifth incident, when Netaji came, Shivaji Maharaj just asked him, ki, where were you? ये इतना सब हो रहा है and I really needed you, आपके enforcements मुझे चाहिए थे. You did not come. मेरे 1,000-1,200 लोग वहाँ पे मारे गए. What happened? We don't have any official source, we don't have any authentic documentation, but Netaji just walked away. शिवाजी महाराज ने जो कुछ भी कहा उसके बाद कुछ काउंटर पार्ट नहीं था, कुछ उसने रिवर्ट नहीं किया उस पर. ही जस्ट वॉकड अवे और वो वहां से आदिल शाही खेमे में गया, आदिल शाही ट्रूप्स के पास गया. सरजा खान वॉज द मेन कमांडर ऑफ आदिल शाह. ही ऑब्वियसली वेलकम्ड हिम आदिल शाह के पास. नेताजी कुछ महीने तक आदिल शाही फौज में रहे. एंड देन व्हेन शिवाजी महाराज हेडेड टुवर्ड्स आगरा, Mirza Raja Jai in 1666, yes, around April, May 66, Mirza Raja offered something to Netaji and he went back again to Mughals. Now, if you see the travel, Netaji was a chief of army staff, of chief of cavalry of Shivaji Maharaj. He went to Vijaypur and then again he went to Mughals.
So anyway, from one enemy camp to another enemy camp.
Yeah.
He was also Shivaji Maharaj's wife's brother, right? Putrabai's brother?
No, we don't have any evidence to say that he was his wife's brother. There was something in between Putlabai, the wife of Shivaji Maharaj, but the exact relation we're not sure. But some sources claim that he was her uncle. Again, Shivaji Maharaj had given his daughter to son of Netaji. It is one of the rumors, I can say. We don't have a single evidence for that.
Okay. So now that Netaji has gone away to these other sectors, there are others who say that this was a plan of Shivaji Maharaj. And what you have told me in the whole chronology, it looks like repeated failure and then dejection, and he just decided to go to the other. What happened after he went to the Mughals? Where was he sent?
Let me come back to you.
How did he accept
before
Islam?
Before that, I'll tell you why it was not a part of
We are talking more about the Shuddhi part. So we will have to stick to the Shuddhi, the forceful Islamization of Netaji Palkar and his return and why that was epochal and how Shivaji managed that.
Okay.
So we'll leave the military aside for a little while.
I am not talking about military, but let me just come back to your question. The base wherein the people say that it was a part of plan. It wasn't because Shivaji Maharaj knew the history, what Aurangzeb did to his brothers, his father and everyone. I think he just thought of firing him. That was the hit of the moment.
So before he could be fired,
it was not in his hands. Yeah, obviously Netaji came to the Mughal court and obviously he was serving under the Mughal commander since around for next 2 to 3 months when Shivaji Maharaj went to Agra and everything. When Shivaji Maharaj escaped from Agra, now Aurangzeb thought of one thing, that since this guy has already escaped, the other one who's Prati Shivaji, at least he should not escape, and he ordered Mirza Raja to capture Netaji and send back him to Agra. When Netaji was sent to Agra, obviously the जो कुछ भी होता है उनके साथ, that was brutal. For next 2 to 3 months उन पे बहुत सारे अत्याचार किए गए, सब कुछ हुआ. Then ultimately he accepted to he basically accepted to accept Islam. Now Netaji was renamed, or his what we can say, उनका एक जो typical जो rituals होते हैं, sunta and everything. It happened in the month of March, on 27th of March 1667.
His wife and children also were...
No, initially Netaji was captured. Then he had 3 wives and 2 sons. Basically, they were also captured and they were sent to Delhi. One of his wife refused to go to Delhi. She stayed back. उनके 2 बीवियाँ वहाँ पे गई. Then they also had to accept Islam. Netaji was renamed as Muhammad Quli Khan. Aurangzeb, again, he did not want him around Delhi, or he did not want him to send back to Deccan. He sent him on the front of Kabul Kandahar, where the Mughals were facing hard times because the Shah Abbas of Iran was constantly invading, and the border was quite unstable. अब नेतोजी वहाँ पे जाने के बाद we don't have the exact places, but first thing was Lahore, then he headed back to Kabul. Kabul front पे he spent around 9 to 10 years.
Okay. So after those 9 to 10 years, why did he want to return to Maharashtra?
He tried returning 1 or 2 times, but unfortunately he failed. Now in 1674, Shivaji Maharaj, the coronation and everything happened.
Coronation of Shivaji Maharaj.
Shivaji Maharaj was uncontrollable at that time, and Aurangzeb thought of someone who can survive the entire thing of Deccan, the Maratha politics and the guerrilla warfare and everything. Netaji was the only person Aurangzeb thought of, since he's spent 10 years in the north.
Now Islamized enough.
It is infiltrated all the way. Netaji was unsure again that Aurangzeb, anytime he would send him back to Deccan. But this was the chance. Netaji accepted it. As a Muhammad Quli Khan, obviously being the Mughal Sardar, he came back to Deccan. At some point of time, he got that space and he went to Raigad to meet Shivaji Maharaj. Now, again, that the entire thing, the Mughal costume and the moustaches and the beard and everything, he went to Raigad. Nobody was sure that he is Netaji, and he has come back all the way after 9-10 years. Shivaji Maharaj met him. Netaji wanted him to be back in Hindu religion first thing, and he wanted to serve again for Swarajya. Whatever had happened 10 years back, he wanted Maharaj to forgive him, and obviously Shivaji Maharaj did.
So what happened to his wife and children? When he returned,
they unfortunately could not make it.
Oh,
they stayed back. 2 of his wives stayed back at Delhi.
We have no idea what happened to them.
We have no idea. We don't have enough evidences. But whatever we have, Netaji.
This is such a shame, because when Shivaji Maharaj left Agra, he escaped from such a huge vigil. He ensured that even the last man comes back. And
but unfortunately, we don't have any evidence to say that they also came along with Netaji. It is only probably 2 of the sources we have wherein.
So now did Netaji go through any reconversion procedures? Was that acceptable? How was it?
There is a place called Sankeshwar in the nearby to Kolhapur. Shivaji Maharaj.
Sankeshwar is somewhere near Raigad?
No, it is
belt?
to the southern part of Maharashtra, on the upper side of Western Ghats, near to Kolhapur or the Karnataka border. Sankeshwar was the sacred place at that time, and Shivaji Maharaj already had drawn some campaign nearby. So Netaji, basically he came to Raigad first, then came along with Shivaji Maharaj, and on 19th of June 1676, Shivaji Maharaj arranged that the entire thing, and Netaji Palkar was re-invited, or he was accepted. He
Ghar Wapsi,
Shuddhi Ghar Wapsi is what we can call it. But he was taken again into Hinduism, or the Hindu religion. And that was one of the biggest things at that time, because if you see, Dharma is something which has to be evolving. People at that time used to think that if someone has already accepted Islam or Christianism, he cannot get back. This step of Shivaji Maharaj was legendary, that someone who has already stepped out of Dharma and is getting back again willingly, and we are also willing to accept him.
That is epochal, because see, the demographic changes that keep happening, because we keep shunning and making a taboo out of reconversion, re-acceptance. I think this was a very huge step, and it did, because Maharaj was already a coronated king at that time.
So
I think
this was the loud and clear message, not just to us, not just to our people who, again, I'm not
Yes.
claiming someone has opposed this thing, but
Yeah.
there were a few who tried to oppose probably.
Yeah, even
And
otherwise,
that was
even if they did not oppose, at least he normalized it for the people.
yes.
And also to
The message was to the
also to
opponents
the
also.
to the Islamic Brigade, which thought that you could forcefully convert somebody and that was forever.
Exactly.
But Maharaj showed this. I remember Mendel sir and Bedekar sir's speeches that Maharaj ziddi hote. If people
Yes.
were converted, he brought them back into the Hindu fold. If they were converted forcibly to Islam or Christianity or whatever, he brought them back into the Hindu fold.
Yep.
If more temples were felled, he saw to it that whatever was built on top of it, masjid or church or fell, destroyed.
We have this example. So, in the great campaign of Karnataka in 1678, 76 to 78, there were two temples. One was Samutri Perumal, which was the temple of Vishnu, and other one was Shonachalpati, which was the temple of Shiva. Now, both these temples were destructed and mosques were built at the place of those temples. Shivaji Maharaj, when he went there, he obviously, Mughals or the sultans used to destruct the temples, but not all the way. They used to keep the portion of the temple.
Yeah, that was
Just-
like to rub it in your face.
Exactly. So Shivaji Maharaj saw it obviously, and he inquired about it. What exactly happened to these temples? When he got to know that temples were destructed and mosques were built, he ordered to destruct those mosques and rebuild the temples again. Not just this, he organized a typical Hindu ceremony kind of thing wherein he donated around 11,000 जो गाय होती है सवत्स cows.
Cow and bachada and all.
Yes. So this was one of the things, and he again built the Gopuram in a way that it could not be built in sultanates, the Bijapur Sultanates era. तो वो इतना बड़ा था कि वहां पे किसी ने सोचा भी नहीं होता कि ऐसे कोई कर सकता है यहाँ पे. So that Gopuram, that Sabha Mandap, and the overall rituals which Shivaji Maharaj followed were like legendary.
Yeah.
So this was one of the things, and there are other examples also where Shivaji Maharaj had destructed mosques. Obviously, not the ones which were built originally as mosques.
Yeah. He was not against those mosques or Islam, but he was
Exactly.
against
But if you
the
have-
heinous manner in which Hinduism, Sanatan Dharma
Correct.
was being annihilated.
Correct.
So he would give it back its place.
Correct.
This happened with Christianity somewhere in the south also and somewhere in Goa also.
Yes.
right?
So when we come back to 1667, 1668, when this the Agra thing had already been done, Netaji was not here. Obviously, Shivaji Maharaj, who was in the treaty of Purandar with Mughals, Treaty of Purandar with Mughals. Shivaji Maharaj started looking at the military systems, obviously, and the administrative systems. Now, within these 4 years, Shivaji Maharaj tried to normalize things. He went to Konkan region. He restructured the entire administrative structure, and in this particular campaign, he got to know that some of the priests, the Christian priests, used to cross the border of Goa and Maharashtra. They used to come to Konkan, and they used to convert people.
Okay. The Saptakotishwar incident.
Saptakotishwar incident is again, it is 8 years later to this particular incident. But Shivaji Maharaj captured 4 of the priests. He asked straight away that if you are converting my people, now you are standing on my land. This is my land. I am telling you to accept my religion. If you're not accepting it, just face your destiny. Priests denied, and Shivaji Maharaj beheaded all 4 priests. That
I think a
was
letter also
again,
was sent by those officials over there about how
to the Goan
Yeah.
administration, when the
I-
Portuguese
before-
denied that these priests were doing this thing, but Shivaji Maharaj beheaded, and the message was loud and clear: if you are trying to convert our people, we'll do the same with you.
you know what, Shivaji Maharaj established Swarajya, and there was hardly any Hindu king or Hindu establishment at that era who could challenge any of these Mughal, Adil Shahi, Nizam, Shahis at that time. So he was like not only an epoch maker in that sense, he also set this precedent which the later Marathas carried forward. Chimaji Appa?
Even before Chimaji Appa, let me just connect this particular thing to what Shivaji Maharaj did with the priest. Just 10 to 12 years after this incident, Sambhaji Maharaj, son of Shivaji Maharaj, he basically draw a campaign to Goa, the north part of the Goa.
To liberate.
And there's an inscription, forget about the rest of the inscription, but one single line denotes what Shivaji Maharaj had in his mind. The line states, now this has become the Hindu kingdom. In Maratha it is, आता है हिंदू राज्य झाले आहे. Now you don't need to worry about it. If anything comes to you, if anyone comes to you and says that you'll either, if you want to live, you'll have to convert back to either Islam or Christianity. It is not going to happen. Now we are here, and the kingdom, we as in being Hindu king, I am being the Hindu king, Sambhaji Maharaj, I'm assuring you that now this is the Hindu kingdom.
Son carried forward the legacy. Let us talk about Peshwai also. Trimbakeshwar Mandir in Nashik. Again, Chimaji Appa's various campaigns where he brought the church bells back. And he did not destroy churches, but he did bring these church bells and establish them in various temples. Let's talk about that.
I'll come to Chimaji Appa first because timeline-wise it comes first. In 1737,
Chimaji Appa, for the uninitiated, who is Chimaji Appa?
Chimaji Appa is the younger brother of Peshwa Bajirao, who's well known to
equally qualified.
If you ask me, he was one step ahead to Bajirao. In terms of administration, in terms of military tactics and everything.
The two of them together were a lethal, potent force of statesmanship, thinking ahead, military expertise. And to imagine that coming from a Brahmin family where you would expect them to mostly know the Shastras, here they were wielding swords, thinking of strategies, defeating enemies, taking on
and also they are following the Dharma.
Yeah, so amazing.
Yes. So in 1737, Chimaji Appa, basically he planned that entire campaign of Vasai, wherein if you see there were two provinces. One was the northern part of Maharashtra, Vasai to Dahanu, Virar, Palghar, and the southern was Goa, where the Portuguese influence was since last 2 to 3 decades, since 1400 and something. 1500 and something. Now Chimaji Appa, at the same time when Chimaji Appa invaded Vasai and the surrounding, Venkatrao Ghorpade was the Sardar of Peshwas, and he was the husband to sister of Bajirao and Chimaji Appa.
A Ghorpade married into Chitpavan.
Ghorpade was Venkatrao was Chitpavan only. Basically, his surname was Joshi, but since Santaji Ghorpade had adopted him, his father, the surname got Joshi Ghorpade and then only Ghorpade.
Okay.
So Venkatrao Ghorpade went to Goa. At the same time, on both these fronts, the Maratha troops were fighting against Portuguese. Unfortunately, Goa was out of scope at that time. Chimaji Appa,
I think, you know what, Marathas would have liberated Goa long ago, but the northern campaigns kept them busy. Sambhaji Maharaj, Shivaji Maharaj, Chimaji Appa, Bajirao.
Yes.
That north was so important.
But then again, in this campaign also, the treaty which happened between Marathas and Portuguese, there is a sentence that now onwards, since we are in the talks of peace and everything, now you will not torture our people, you will not force them to convert to your religion. Now, if this happens, we'll come back. This is one of the things.
Yeah. Okay, so
at the same time,
coming back to that.
Chimaji Appa, when he went to Vasai, he captured Vasai, Thane and the province. He did not hurt the feelings of Portuguese. From religious point of view, he did not destruct the churches. Even he offered Portuguese see, you're not staying here. First thing, you need to go back to
Safe
either Portugal
passage.
or everything. But the safe passage was made to the children, to the women's, to the noblemen,
And the
that you
elderly.
carry whatever you want, you carry it along with you. You just leave this province, but whatever you had built will not destruct it. The only thing is, we will not keep it continuing ahead, will not do the same thing, that whatever you had done to our people will not do that thing with you. The churches are still there in Vasai Fort, the churches are still there in Sashti Thane, but it is the best part of Maratha kingdom, the Marathas, that they did not think on the same lines what sultans used to think, what Portuguese used to think. So Dharma for us will not invade it directly from our end, will not try to destroy it, will keep it as is. We are proud of our religion, but it doesn't mean that we'll destroy your religion. This is the first.
Tolerance is the biggest tenet of Sanatan Dharma.
Yes.
I don't know if it's a plus or a minus, because
That can be nowadays, it can be stated as minus point. Obviously, the things that are happening right now. But at that time, we used to think that this is a plus point. Obviously, Chimaji Appa took the bales and everything out of churches. He donated it to the temples of Maharashtra. One thing. As I explained, the same time, Venkatrao Ghorpade was in talks with Portuguese, and he explained the terms and conditions of Marathas, that the religious policies should be as per our terms and conditions. Even if we are not taking Goa back to, or we are not capturing Goa directly, we can come back anytime.
if there's any forceful.
Yes. So that was the first incident. Then, obviously, in 1739, the campaign was over. The Vasai campaign was over. Bajirao died in April 1740.
Actually, the tragedy is that Shivaji Maharaj, Sambhaji Maharaj, Bajirao, Chimaji Appa, Madhavrao Peshwe, many of them died so young, and at such times in their life when they were at the peak, and if they had lived a little longer,
The issue would have been different.
India का history बदल देते.
So Nana Sahib took charge of Peshwai. Now, if you ask me personally, I feel that Nana Sahib was not just 1, 2, he was 1,000 steps ahead of his father, his uncle.
But बरगद के नीचे अक्सर बरगद की तरफ ध्यान जाता है सबका. That sapling which is equally.
So when Aurangzeb came here in 1682, one of the Jyotirlingas, Trimbakeshwar, it was destroyed, and Aurangzeb constructed a mosque over there. Now, when Nana Sahib took over the charge, first few years of his reign were spent to standardize, normalize the things. But in 1754, Nana Sahib ordered to destruct that mosque which Aurangzeb had built, and he ordered to build the temple again. Now the work was going for next 31 years. Nana Sahib, obviously he went.
You're talking of Trimbakeshwar.
Trimbakeshwar. Yes.
Trimbakeshwar, where they had constructed a mosque.
Yes, it was destroyed. The mosque was built. It is the same case what happened with Kashi, what happened with Somnath. The same thing. One of the
And now that is the Siyasta Kumbh ka center.
Yes,
And heart
the temple
center
that
of the
you see
12
right now.
Jyotirlings of.
Correct. The temple that you see right now was built by Nana Sahib. Obviously rebuilt again. The renovations and everything were done by Ahilyabai Holkar and Nana Fadnavis. But the main structure of the temple.
So see, that's what I meant. That this thing that Shivaji Maharaj started of Ghar Wapsi and reclaiming temples.
Yes, and
this just went on, and
the same period, obviously a couple of months ago. Why I'm telling you this is the legacy that Shivaji Maharaj has given to the generations. Nana Sahib had skirmishes with Mughals, with Nizam, with Portuguese. At several fronts, he was just roaming around. Now, when Nizam tried to capture the fort of Muller, which is near Nashik, Nana Sahib writes back to him saying that आम्ही गनिम लोग शिवाजी महाराजांचे शिष्य होते. We have learned all these things from Shivaji Maharaj, and it is in our blood. If you come along with your troops and everything, you'll not go back to your home again, at least on your feet. That is the main message that Nana Sahib used to give to his enemies through letters and through the incidents like this, Trambakeshwar. He rebuilt the temple. He ensured that whatever the Hindu rituals were carried along since last decades or centuries, now siesta, which was taught till then since 1600 and 1690, 92, or even before that, to 1754, 60 to 65 years, the thing was not happening. And Nana Sahib started it again.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much. Actually, Kaustubh, we could just go on and on with your huge knowledge of history, of the Maratha history, and so many details, that one wants to say this also, that also, but then somehow time being the constraint, today we'll have to stop at this. But we would again love to have another pocket of history, another topic, and have you as a guest and help our guests, viewers, hear a few more interesting and informative tidbits from you.
Sure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for inviting me here.